Hi, everyone. Today is Tuesday, April 15th, 2025. I hope it's not too echoey in here. I'm in a little yoga studio. Today, I want to share something that happened to me yesterday. I had to apologize to someone. So I want to talk about apologizing and saying I'm sorry. That is really hard to do sometimes, especially in a world where we hear a lot of messages that encourage us to take action and apologize later, like ask for permission later. And this is especially true in the business world, which is kind of where I live. We're told to, especially as women, like studies show that women apologize a lot more than men. And it's like, so we're like given these messages that we should not apologize. Like, don't say I'm sorry because it's like a sign of weakness. And I don't agree with that. Like, I think if you're wrong, you should apologize. And like, we know when we're wrong. Most of the time, we know when we're wrong and we say, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, or I didn't mean to upset you, or what I said was not designed to cause friction. Or maybe just plain old, I shouldn't have done that, or I shouldn't have said that. I was an idiot and I shouldn't have done that, because we're all idiots sometimes, right? But in this particular situation, I wasn't being an idiot and I wasn't intentionally upsetting someone. And I really thought that what I said was a helpful suggestion. But in hindsight, when the person explained to me why I had said was upset, why what I had said was upsetting, when I thought about it, I was like, ooh, kind of realized why it was upsetting. Now, what I said would not have upset another person. It probably wouldn't have upset you. You probably would have said, oh, okay, no big deal. But this person is different. And I know this person really well. And I knew them well enough to know that what I said was probably not the right thing to say. And I shouldn't have said it. And when they told me like that was the wrong thing to say, instead of like pausing and really kind of thinking it through, like I defended myself. I did that. I did that. And it was because I didn't mean it in the way they took it. But that doesn't mean that I shouldn't have apologized quicker, right? So like apologizing is hard, especially when you didn't mean to do anything wrong, or when you didn't, or when the other person actually took it the wrong way. Like, you're taking this the wrong way, so I'm not going to apologize because you're taking it the wrong way. But really, the truth of the matter is that even if they are taking it the wrong way, in the interest of preserving that relationship, if it means anything to you, you should apologize and not just say, I'm sorry if you took it the wrong way, but I'm sorry that what I said caused you pain, or I'm sorry that what I said upset you. Because if you think it through and you know the other person's countenance, like their personality, like how they're made up, and you understand why what you did or what you said, why it hit that person in a particular way, even if it wouldn't have hit another person in a particular way. And even if you think it's unreasonable that it hit your friend or your person in that way, if you know that person and you care about that person and you care about how they feel or how something will hit them, and you had the ability to think that through before you opened your mouth, which I did because it's my mouth, then maybe you are regretful that you said that. And maybe it would be helpful to say, you know what, I'm sorry I said that, because I realized that when I said that to you, it was not the right thing to say to you. And I'm sorry I said that. And if I could take it back, I would, but I can't. So what I can say is that I realize how that hit you because you're wired this way, or because of your background and your experiences, you would take what I said in that way. And I don't want you to have that uncomfortable feeling, or I don't want you to feel that way about this situation because of what I said. Right? And it's certainly in a situation where it means more to that person than it does to you, then how does it hurt you to apologize, right? And I think showing that level of humility in a relationship that matters to you is one of the things that not only strengthens the relationship, but actually makes it last longer, like keeps it going. So if a relationship matters to you, you kind of have to be really good at apologizing in that relationship. Like yesterday, we talked about how important it is to get really good at starting over. It's kind of the same with apologizing, because in a micro way, apologizing in a relationship and meaning it, like if you don't mean it, don't apologize. Do not. Just keep on going. But if you mean it, then in a small way, that relationship kind of starts over, and it starts over fresh, and you get to rebuild whatever trust was lost because of whatever you said or did that you needed to apologize for. So apologizing is important. And just, this is me and this is who I am and this is how I'm going to act. And I'm just going to say what I want to say, no matter how it affects you or how it affects other people. And this attitude that I think we see a lot today in people that's like, I don't care what other people think. Well, I agree with that to some extent. For example, when I quit my job many years ago so that I could pursue my own business, my parents were a little caught off guard. Like they were a little upset. My father was a lot upset. I'll have to tell that story one day. And it wasn't that I didn't care about what he thought, but I had to live my life. But I didn't quit my job in a way that was abrasive or, Dad, thanks for all the money you spent on my college education. I'm quitting my job now and forget about you. Like I didn't do it that way. I didn't do it in a way that said, this is me and this is who I am and I don't care what you think. That would not have been good for our relationship. I had to explain it to him in a different way, in a humble way, in a graceful way, in a gracious way. Like, thank you for giving me an education and helping me to thrive and get started in my career and giving me a chance to have an education so that I did have the ability to start my own business. And if my business doesn't work out, guess what? I have an education so I can go get a job and fall back on the education that you made possible for me to have. And I have the confidence to quit my job. I only had that in part because you gave it to me, because I have, an educational experience to fall back on. So it's not that I didn't care. Of course I cared, but I still did what I wanted to do for myself, notwithstanding what other people thought. So I think there's a real way to make sure that you pursue what's important to you with an attitude of humility and not disregarding other people that are important in your life. But sometimes you do have to say, I'm going to do what I feel called to do, but do it in a way that doesn't make other people feel like they don't matter, because important relationships do matter. So it is hard to say I'm sorry, isn't it? It's hard, even when you know you're wrong. Sometimes it's hard to say you're sorry. But when you do, and you see that relationship be preserved, like that's the reward. Like that's what makes it worth it to step back and say, you know what? I shouldn't have said that. I wish I hadn't said that. I could have said something else, or I could have said nothing, right? Or I could have done nothing. I could have done something differently. But whatever the case, I made a person who I care about feel a certain kind of way because what I did or what I said hit their particular life experience in a way that was hurtful or made them feel a certain way. coming from me, because sometimes other people can say the same thing I said to that person, it wouldn't make a difference. But coming from a certain person sometimes in a relationship, it just hits different. And y'all know, like, the power of the world is in your tongue. Like, you can slice and dice somebody with your words, or even not just with your words, but with how you say them. Sometimes you have to apologize, not just for what you say, but how you said it, right? Let's be real here. That is true. So what I'm passing on is there is no shame or embarrassment or weakness in apologizing. Like, it is powerful to apologize, especially when you know you need to apologize, when you know you could have done better, and when you mean it in the sense that you will do better next time because you learned something. You learned something about the other person, you learned something about yourself. You also learn how much that relationship means to you, and the other person also learns how much the relationship means to you, which is important because you get to maintain a relationship, which at the end of the day is the most important thing in the world. It's more important than stuff and things. Relationships are everything. So there's power in an apology, and power in being really self-aware and learning another person who matters to you even better, so that you know how to handle them, how to handle that relationship, and how to make it stronger, and how to mend fences, like how to have crucial conversations with other people is so important. And you only learn that through humility and learning how to apologize. And then on the other side, when someone upsets you, it's important to also learn how to forgive, like, and how to accept that apology and move on and not hold on to the grudge and not throw it up in their face the next day, which, if you're watching, friend, please don't throw it up in my face. Right? Don't do that, because, you know, that shuts another person down, and that's not helpful. Relationships are hard sometimes, aren't they? But apologize, accept the apology, use the experience to make the relationship stronger and richer as you move forward. And then everything can just only get better. You get better, the other person gets better, the relationship gets stronger, and you just have more fun. And isn't that what life is all about? Let's get to know each other better. Let's be better friends. Let's have a stronger friendship. And we can just move forward and make life even better every day. That's what I think it's all about. What do you think? Share in the comments, and I'll see you tomorrow.